is pretty exciting. You never know what's going to happen the next day.
It certainly is. It's certainly unpredictable. Just before I came on air today, you've now been, in addition to the 150 different violence and corruption charges that you're facing, they've now put your name against this murder of a lawyer who was pressing for a case against you for sedition, who was killed on Tuesday by 4 gunmen. What is your response to that?
Piers, I don't even know the name of this guy.
It's Abdul Razak.
Again, I repeat, it is the case didn't even register on my radar. Of course, I had nothing to do with it. Everyone knows I had nothing to do with it. People in his family know that I had nothing to do with it.
The other charges, Imran, there's 150 of them. It's a huge amount. Obviously, if you're convicted of this, you'll go to prison, presumably, for a long period of time. What do you feel about this? I mean, you're back in court tomorrow. They'll decide whether you can go back home under house arrest or presumably whether you will be incarcerated. What is your general view about what is happening to you?
I have 17 bail cases tomorrow. Chances are all the judge has to say is that one of the bails, he refuses to give me bail and I go to jail. So I'm mentally prepared. But, you know, Piers, what is happening in Pakistan, we are back to the dark ages. I mean, there's no rule of law left here. What has been happening to my party, 10,000 of our workers are in jail, and the judges give them relief, and the police picks them up in another case. So it is the law of the jungle right now. I mean, it's never happened in this country before.
Your critics, your enemies, they say you're getting what you did to others, in the sense that the military turned on you, but to start with, you had them on your side, that you, when you came into office, were putting people in prison who shouldn't have been, with trumped-up charges and so on. You've heard this charge against you. What is your response to that?
First of all, it's never happened, even in military dictatorship, what is happening now. But secondly, you know, 95% of the cases against the opposition I inherited. They were from the previous governments. In fact, when they were in power, there were only 5% of the cases. And it was nothing like what is going on now.
If you end up going to jail for a long period of time, what will happen to you, to your party, to the movement, to all of it?
Look, Piers, why is this happening? This is happening because my party, PTI, is now the largest party in Pakistan's history. I mean, the ratings the party has today, all the parties on one side, they realize that they are no match for this party. The movement is so powerful today. And that is the reason why this is happening. Because they are now petrified. The people who removed me are petrified that whenever, and elections are supposed to be in October, whenever there are elections, my party will come back into power. Hence, they are trying to completely dismantle the party.
I would say that the support from world leaders has been pretty deafening with its silence in the main. Do you wish you'd had more vocal support from maybe the British Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, the American President, Joe Biden? Would that be helpful?
Look, you know, Piers, in my 3.5 years as Prime Minister, I discovered one thing, that this morality and the so-called Western values about democracy, constitutionalism, rule of law, fundamental rights against custodial torture, all that is happening in Pakistan today. Yet, I think the interests of the powers, Britain, the US, I think they are more aligned with our military for whatever reasons, maybe because they're supporting them in Ukraine. I always wanted an independent foreign policy because 80,000 Pakistanis died when we joined the US war on terror, and I was against it. So I think maybe that they feel that their interests are more served by the current regime. And whenever that happens, you know, all these professed values go out of the window.
I mean, Rishi Sunak is currently in Washington with President Biden. What's your message to both of them if they're watching this? My
message is simple. Firstly, countries only sort their problems out from within. But the professed values of United States and United Kingdom, I repeat, is democracy, is fundamental rights, rule of law. I mean, whenever they criticize Hong Kong or China with the Uyghurs or Russia, they always talk about the lack of human rights and fundamental rights and lack of democracy. But here's one standing for democracy, and all these values are being violated, yet not a word from them. But, I didn't really